Hey, everybody. Welcome to yet another live stream from Total Space Network with yours truly. And we are going to watch Soyuz launch for Arianespace for OneWeb, 34 OneWeb satellites. I'm AstroRoadie, and we are here to answer questions or chit chat or whatever you would like. If you're watching this stream after the fact, you are welcome to do that. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below or in the chat if you're live with us right now. We try to respond to any commentary we get as quickly as we can and try to keep you in the loop of what we know and share it with you. So there we have it. And we'd love to hear from you. We offer a lot of different things here at Total Space. We've got Deep Dive on with Miko. We've got the Space Update with Ryan. And we have Becoming Multiplanetary with Rich LB. And then we have myself doing a lot of our live content, as well as behind the scenes editing and show direction and things like that to try and bring more content to you. So if you like what we do and want to see more of it, there's some buttons down below the screen here that you can hit, and they will let us know that you like what you're seeing, and we will do more of that kind of thing. Trying to get some things to come up on my screen, and they aren't showing up, but we will keep looking. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to find. So if you do like what you see and feel like you would like to support us in some sort of fashion, like buying us coffee or giving us some sort of financial compensation, you can do so with patreon.com/total space. And we have all sorts of tiers of contributions that you can make with us, and we appreciate all those things. You obviously don't have to do that. We're happy if you come and watch and maybe even click a like button. And I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. I'm not very good at that. There we go. That did not show up. Okay. It looks like Ariane has pushed their stream out another 20 minutes from now. So we have a little bit going on from Roscosmos, and we have some other things. Did you want Mr. Producer? Do you want a different Roscosmos feed than the one? Okay. I'm gonna see if I can get one more up and running. Sorry for anybody watching this. If it bothers you that I'm multitasking, I apologize for that. Trying to get lots of different things. So we're getting 3 different feeds on this launch, so hopefully we get one that has lots of what we actually want to see. You know what? That's a great idea, Gary. We will do that in the future. YouTube usually will adjust things for your current time zone for us, but we can certainly add UTC in there. There we go. Okay. We've got a little bit over 30 minutes till T minus 0. And yes, we are still finalizing our overlay. We're hoping to get our overlay looking a little bit better than it does right now for tomorrow's Inspiration 4 launch, which we will be covering as much of that as we can get our hands on to share with you. And it should be fantastic. Yes, if SpaceX or NASA is giving us any sort of feed, we will be live. We won't be able to share any of the Netflix stream, but we can share anything else that we can get our hands on. Where are we? Oh, there we are. Boom. Okay. There. I now have all the feeds in front of me. Sorry about the distraction there. Yeah, we have got. Looks like they are showing us the. Oh, I had notes here somewhere. Let me find those. Do. So they were just showing us the RUAG space deployment device on screen there, and that is sourced to OneWeb and Arianespace. We are launching aboard a Soyuz 2.1, and it looks like it's $25 million launch. Is that what the overlay means there? Okay, yes. So that's a pretty low price for a launch. Is that? Do we have any more information on that for me? Um, I would more about the dollar amount. The dollar amount seems really quite low for a Soyuz launch. Ah, gotcha. Well, I'm sure that's accurate information. They are fairly reliable. So, yeah, looks like 25 million for the launch of this Soyuz. And it's I guess they can even get it down to 20 million in an RKK configuration, which means lighter fairing, lighter and probably a cheaper fairing. It's got a big mushroom head on it. Slows it down with the air resistance, so it needs more fuel, and it weighs a little bit more and a little bit heavier payload and things like that, I'm guessing. This is fantastic. So there is a Soyuz there on the train, heading out towards the pad. That is today's launch, and they roll it out to the pad with a blanket still on the fairing. And currently on the pad, that blanket on the fairing has been removed. I don't know if we can pull that feed up or not. All right. Let me see if I can find that one for you. There were two for... Oh, you found it? Okay. Good. Looks like we'll have some more stuff coming up here soon. Astronomer Z, hey, welcome. Feel free to ask questions. We will do our best to answer. I've got an army of people to do research for me and find the answers if I don't have them, and whisper in my ear and get the answers to you. And if not, we can always make up a funny story. I'm kidding. That was a joke. Okay. Yeah. What is going on with this? Okay. Yeah. So it has been a little bit of a long morning for me. I don't know about any of you, but we did the Starlink launch last night, and then I went to work, and then I got home from work, and I turned on my camera and my lights and sat down, and 30 minutes later we were live. So it's been a long day. Repeat. Yeah, two streams in one day. How lucky are you guys? We do not have a lot going on yet. It looks like they've finished fueling, but they have not started visibly engine chilling yet. I don't see any. Oh, there's a little bit of fog on that one. So they may have started. They should have started engine chill by now. With just under 25 minutes to go to launch. So looks like all the camera angles we have are pretty far back at the moment. Maybe they'll sneak a flame trench cam in there or something so we can see a little bit more what's going on. That's more of a thing China does, though, is those flame trench cams. Welcome everybody. Feel free to ask questions if you have them, or if you have a comment about what you hope to see out of this launch. What is your favorite part about a Soyuz launch? Is there something special about a Soyuz launch, or an Arianespace launch, or a OneWeb launch that is particularly exciting for you? Roscosmos actually has quite a few plans in the works that they've been announcing over the last year or so. They are working with the Chinese space programs in order to work with them on the Chinese space station. They are also working on the Ross, which is their own little station that they're going to try to build. They are also, rather recently, they've and I didn't see any official announcements, just some memes and jokes about it. But it sounds like they've announced their own Starship clone that they're going to work on. So that should be fun and exciting. They are working on some more reusable types of things in their space program. They are continuing to work with NASA and the rest of the International Space Station collaboration to keep that up and running for the foreseeable future. I think we're hoping to get another 8 or 9 years out of the ISS. Well, so it sounds like there's a little bit of debate as to how long they can keep the ISS running. The saddest part about the whole thing is they just got the Nauka module up there, and I believe another module that just went up after that or is about to go up. That actually is a docking ring in order to allow more spacecraft to dock to the ISS. So we're not going to get a lot of life out of those unless we can leave them attached to something like what Axiom is planning on working on, which they're going to be. Oh yeah, and the NanoRacks module, which is not really habitable space, but is a CubeSat deployment system. And so we can ship a CubeSat up to the ISS. They can put it inside the NanoRacks module and then open it up and launch the CubeSat from the ISS, which is great for some of the science experiments that we do based out of the ISS. So there's some stuff that's pretty new, but then you look at some of the older stuff. The first few modules that went up are in pretty sorry shape. We've learned a lot from building the ISS. So, like, there are things that if we were to build it now, we would build very differently. As far as durability, what they need to handle, what's accessible to the even just the airflow within the station. Things are getting a little dirty and whatnot up there. So it's, the early modules have definitely lived a life up there and put some work in for us. That sounds like it would be a really great idea. However, modules for Gateway Station need to be built have quite a bit more radiation hardening because they are outside the Van Allen belt and have to pass through the Van Allen belt, which is very intense area of radiation in space. So if we were to push any of the modules that are currently on the ISS through the Van Allen belt, it would fry any sort of circuitry or wiring in there, and the module would be useless. Now, it would be habitable space, but none of the circuitry or anything inside of it would work. So there is minimal advantage to doing that. It would be a little bit of a chore to build up the Delta V from where it is now and get it up to a lunar orbit. But yeah, I guess it is possible. But it just wasn't built for that kind of a thing. The gateway modules are built with a lot more radiation hardening and designed to go through the Van Allen belt and exist in an area of space that has quite a bit more intense radiation than we have in low Earth orbit where the ISS is. The Van Allen belt protects us from space radiation in a lot of ways, but it also kind of acts as a battery, and it stores up a lot of that radiation. So we're here around the Earth, and as we go away from the Earth and pass through that Van Allen belt, we're passing through this like concentration of radiation that's kind of coming around the Earth through the magnetosphere and kind of all piling up and around the edges of that bubble, so to speak. And so that area is really intense. And then on the other side of the bubble, radiation is higher than it is on the inside of the bubble. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you, AstroZ. Does that give you a little bit of an explanation? We are about 17 minutes to launch. It's funny, Roscosmos feed has hidden its countdown with its logo. No, oh, there, that one. Yeah. Which one is, oh, because it's, yeah. Just where I'm looking at it direct on YouTube, the Roscosmos logo is hiding the countdown, but where you're pulling it direct into OBS, it doesn't do that. That's interesting. Yeah. Anytime, AstroZ. Hopefully that helps. That was a great question. I one of my first videos I did before I joined Total Space was on the Artemis and the Gateway program, and I did a lot of research and kind of learned how to even edit and put together some fancier videos instead of just sitting in front of a camera and talking. And that was one of the things that as I was looking at the Artemis program, I'm like, well, why don't we just move the ISS? And as I dug into it, I learned, well, we just can't do that. It's not built for it. So I'm glad that information was able to help you. And me making that video is part of what uh, led me to be invited to join the Total Space team. So we all win. It was a great little project for me. Looks like the OneWeb feed is not really a feed at this point. It's just a picture. But in about a minute and a half, Arianespace will be pushing their stream, so we might be getting some more views that we can pick from. And we can show some more interesting things. We'll try and mix things up so that you guys at least don't have to go bouncing back and forth between all the streams. We'll make our wonderful Mr. Producer Man do all that work for us. All right. We are sitting at just over 13 minutes to T-minus 0. Yeah. Imagine getting that close to the rocket. I mean, these cameras are a lot closer than they allow a live operator here in the United States. So one of my favorite things about a Soyuz launch is the expansion plume as it goes up, both the vapor plume and the exhaust plume. Uh, just watching those expand because of the way the boosters are configured on the outside around the core stage. It just it expands a little bit differently than say on a Falcon 9 launch or a Rocket Lab launch. And I just love that kind of opening up of the the exhaust plume and watching the mock diamonds change shape as the rocket gets up into higher altitudes. It's just so fun for me to watch. I my eyes go wide with wonder. And of course, at liftoff we get that roar. Hopefully we are set up to get a little bit of roar. Hopefully, uh, at least one of the feeds gives us a little bit of roar to listen to. Maybe we never know what they're gonna send to us. But I love hearing that rocket engine roar. We are at T minus 11 minutes and just coasting along. Okay, looks like the OneWeb feed is the Arianespace feed, but delayed an extra 15 seconds or so. So if we want a instant replay on anything, we get an extra 15-20 seconds of delay if you wanted to pipe that feed in. It's probably not worth the effort. So yeah, this is the 10th launch for OneWeb. This will be an additional 34 satellites going up. I don't have in front of me, I don't think. Maybe this one tells me. This takes us up to... No, I don't have the total in front of me. Do we have a total of how many satellites will be up there after this one? Yes, Marco, that overlay is kind of cool, isn't it? Hopefully we can... So Marco actually is one of the guys on the team that has been helping us build this overlay, and we are very excited to have it. We've been wanting one for a little while, but most of us on the team are pretty swamped with just getting normal content out and bringing these launch streams to you. So having time to make an overlay has been challenging, and Marco volunteered to help us out with this. And yeah, we are at about T minus 10 minutes, and so we are very excited to be having this, especially when we get all the fine tuning done on it. Hopefully, we'll be able to work on that a little bit today, get it a little bit even prettier for all of you viewers out there. It sounds like currently they have this. So this will bring us up to about 288 satellites with this launch. So that's a pretty good chunk. And the OneWeb satellites, they have a lot bigger service area for where they're overhead. So like a Starlink service is a very small, like almost straight up and down area. but the OneWebs have a much larger service area, so they don't need quite as many to get global coverage. And OneWeb already has a bunch of satellites covering the polar regions, but the rest of the globe is a little bit more spotty, whereas SpaceX kind of went the opposite route and filled in the majority of the rest of the globe and is working on adding in the polar regions now. And of course, we do need internet at the poles because we have scientists and explorers going out there all the time doing science and getting information about ice pack and animal migrations for the life that's out there, and various things going on, weather studies and climate studies, all sorts of things going on at the poles. Plus, there's those crazy people who just want to go to the poles. And if they've got internet, they've got more reliable emergency communications if they need a rescue or something. So we do need internet out there. It's definitely a good thing to have. And I think one of the reasons, and this is a little bit speculation, but one of the reasons that we've seen this different balance of who already has polar satellites is it's a lot easier from some of the Russian launch sites to get into a polar inclination than it is from, say, the East Coast in the U.S. From the U.S., we have to launch from the West Coast in order to get a good polar inclination. We can do it from the East Coast a little bit. In fact, I believe Transporter 1 and Transporter 2 both were SpaceX polar inclination launches and did give us a few satellites up in that area, but not very many Starlink satellites up in that area. And it's just because of where you are on the globe and what's around you determine what direction you can go when you go up. And you don't just go straight up for orbit. You've got to go up and then over, and it's that over speed that actually determines your orbit. So as you go up and start leaning and kind of paralleling the atmosphere of the Earth, you pick a direction, and where you're going is your inclination. And if it's a polar inclination, it's a lot harder to get to that polar inclination from where you're launching. So even though it seems like it's just a sphere and you'd be able to go from wherever to wherever because space is big and empty, it's what you're going over that is really the concern. You don't want to be flying a rocket over populated cities and things like that. You try to go over the ocean in order to protect the lives of people here on Earth. So, welcome, Justini. We haven't seen you on a stream for a little bit. We're glad to see you. Have you been baking today? We are at T-minus 4 minutes. Oh, I love having that mute button nice and close so I don't have to blast you guys out when I cough. And Max, 5 Max, welcome back. I recognize that name. Perfect. Sounds great. And Tech Fixer 2012, welcome. We are glad to see you on a live stream as well. We're just kind of chilling at the moment. We've got about 2.5 minutes till T-0. We should start seeing a little bit more activity on screen, a little bit more fog and things building up as we get closer to launch. A little bit more cryogenic gases flying around. It's lunch day. We are at about 1.5 minutes. In probably 30-45 seconds or so, we're going to go ahead and kill my microphone, and we're going to get rid of the overlay and bring the view up a little bit bigger for you so you can see a little bit better detail of what's going on. There hasn't been a heck of a lot to look at so far, so hopefully we see a little bit more excitement coming up here in just a moment. The Arianespace feed. Roscosmos just shifted over to that view I was going to tell you about, so we should be good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone now, and we are going to listen to some rockets roar and watch some engine plumes and exciting things like that, and I will come back on just a little bit before max Q, and we will chit-chat some more. Hey, how was that? Got some interesting things going on here. I feel real lucky. I get to watch the best of everything that's going on, and we're bringing that to you on our stream rather than watching some of the other things going on. Two of the other feeds are showing mostly newsroom already, and there's still a rocket within camera range. I would like to thank Roscosmos for actually knowing what to point a camera at. We don't want to see people, we want to see rockets. Even if it is a tiny little dot going really, really fast. Yeah.
Полет нормальный.
Uh,
Параметры системы управления ракетоносителя в
just a
норме.
tiny little dot in the Russian skyline. It makes that look really, really awesome from further away.
Устойчивая. Параметры конструкции ракетоносителя в норме.
I don't know if you guys can hear sirens coming through my microphone. It sounds like there's something going on outside. I apologize if you can hear that. Maybe you can't. So let's see if I can make that a little bigger to see. Let's see. What did I do yesterday to fix that? Yeah. My camera will fix itself in just a moment if it hasn't already for you guys out there. We are, oh boy, I can almost read that. We are traveling at 11,000 kilometers a second. I think that's a second. And oh boy, that is blurry. We're at about 130 kilometers in altitude. Now 1,200 kilometers. Gosh, I hope that's a second. I cannot read that, it's blurry. No, I'm looking at it's kilometers an hour. I'm looking at multiple other screens trying to figure out what it says. Let's see. I can close that back. Maybe. There we go. Oh yeah. We played around with sizing after last night's stream and found if we size things just right, at least with the SpaceX stream, things fit. And then the sizes we picked worked really good for this one. We are coming up on fairing jettison. If it has not already happened, it may have already happened. I've got all these bright lights in my face trying to look at dark screens. My eyes can't adjust fast enough. It does look funny without boosters, doesn't it, Marco? We are at T plus 6 minutes 20 seconds. So that should be looking pretty good. And I can't tell if we're just seeing an advanced display of what the deploy is going to look like from one of the other feeds, or if they've actually started the deploy. We should be seeing third stage cutoff any minute now. Okay, so they're gonna. If we tried to stay with this the whole time, we would be here quite a while. It looks like T plus 5+ hours to finish the deployment sequence. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like staying around quite that long. I mean, do you guys want me to stay around that long? Please say no. Huh? Huh? But producer says he has to go grocery shopping or something. Ah. Grocery shopping, sleep, whatever. Okay, we have third stage separation now. Looks like. I'm kind of cheating all of you. I've got the producer whispering in my ear on he's actually listening to what they're saying on some of the other feeds, and then I'm watching the other feeds, and they're slightly less delay on some than others. So I'm able to see things that happen just before they actually happen on our stream, just because that's how the internet works. Signals bounce around across oceans. They take a minute to get there. So kind of cheating just a little bit. So now this thing is going to coast around the globe, and it's going to do a little bit of course correction and firing in order to speed up and make sure that it's in the exact orbit that they want to for the deploy sequence. And as it goes along, it's going to slowly spit out one or two satellites at a time and set them off in their own individual orbits and just progress around its orbit, spitting out satellites. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna say they have that one view that you just pulled up for us. So yeah, there is what we love to see on these live streams. We have an empty launch pad. That's just a great thing to see at the end of a launch. Nothing there. No rocket. No rapid unscheduled disassemblies hanging around. Just an empty launch pad, ready to get cleaned up and reset for the next launch. Which, if I was smart, maybe I could bring that up for you here. I think I can find that in just a couple of clicks. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so next from Russia will be. Well, they don't have a date set for it yet, but there is a Meridian M coming up later this month. We also have quite a few other launches coming up. Of course, tomorrow we have Inspiration 4. Once again, we are going to be covering absolutely anything and everything we can live, sitting here chatting with you. I believe One or two of the other hosts will be joining me, so we'll have a little bit more of a conversation going on. And after that, probably the next interesting thing, we have an Atlas launch right around the 23rd, doing Landsat 9 and others. We have a bunch of Chinese launches coming up. China's just been launching like crazy, but it's so hard to find a feed on those. Later this month, we have ISRO doing a polar PSLV launch. It's polar something, I forget. Launch vehicle. Polar something launch vehicle. I forget what the S stands for. We also have an Electron launch, hopefully, coming up this month. And it looks like potentially 3 more Starlink launches, all from Florida this month. And looks like we have lost our feed, so maybe it is time to wind down here. So thank you everybody for coming. We are happy to bring these things to you. If you like what we do here at Total Space, you can click those subscribe buttons